Dude, we have some juicy insider news that has to do with a diesel engine manufacturer.
And a diesel engine manufacturer that we know well, one that I at least personally know, because I
Yeah,
have a non-commercial version.
exactly. We're talking about Cummins.
Yep.
We are most familiar with Ram Cummins engines because we test and drive pickup trucks.
Yeah.
But a lot of this news also has to do with big trucks, like, for example, a Freightliner Cascadia.
Are you trying to say that a Ram Cummins is not a big truck, Andre?
It's big enough, but there's something bigger.
Yeah, well, that is bigger.
There's something bigger. We're mostly familiar with the 6.7 liter engines, but the reason why, like, this is a 6.7 liter engine, for example. This is a gasoline burning 6.7 liter engine.
One that we've done a story on before.
But this is very important. I know we're kind of lighthearted usually at TFL, but the emissions regulations are getting tougher and tougher and tougher. We all like to order Amazon items, and go to Walmart and big box stores. And those stores are all fed by big trucks, right?
Yeah.
Big semi trucks. And in order to keep them on the road, and in order to comply with the regulations, you got to introduce new technologies. So we have some insider information here from a trusted source. And most of it is public information, but we have a couple nuggets that we want to talk about.
Yeah, a few things that we weren't expecting and a few cool technologies that are going to help these critically important powertrains that, like you said, move around the majority of products here in the States that we buy.
There's our country.
Yeah.
There's our great country.
And some of these technologies are going to make it more efficient, potentially more cost effective to move things around.
And cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, this is a controversial topic, but for 2027 year, the EPA and CARB is California Resources Board, right? They're in ratcheting up the emissions regulations, right? Everybody's worried. Like, if you and I were a fleet manager of a big truck company, we're not. But if we were, we would ask our truck providers, for example, Freightliner, Kenworth, others, maybe even Ram trucks, we're like, what are you guys doing about this? Because we need to continue moving freight, and are we going to be able to? And those guys look to Cummins, for example, as a solution and an answer.
Yeah, and it's going to take some big technology to try and meet a few of these regulations, and what they're showing us here that's going to be upcoming, like specifically what you're showing right there, it's pretty cool. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's start there.
Yeah, so this is a new DPF system, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's a couple of acronyms: DPF, diesel particulate filter, and also SCR, selective catalytic reduction, or catalyst reduction, right?
Sciencey.
So very fancy terms, but basically the diesel engine is burning fuel, it's spitting out exhaust, and you want to get that exhaust as clean as possible. This is cool. For the first time, I've been excited about the DPF system.
Yeah, because this is a DPF system that's potentially going to make things a little bit more efficient, especially on the fuel front, because like you were pointing at, this is going to have an electric heating system.
Yeah, so normally the way such a system would work is the engine or the computer would ask the engine it would ask for additional fuel.
Yeah.
So to get that exhaust treatment system hotter, so you could burn it hotter, so you can burn more of those NOx particulates and other gases and make them cleaner, right? And
Yeah.
burn more of them. But now they're proposing an electric system that will come up to temperature very quickly,
Yeah.
which means a cold start.
Yeah.
You can immediately clean the engine very fast.
Yeah, so less time getting up to temperature, and because theoretically you're not using fuel directly to be heating up that system, then should be hopefully getting better fuel economy, because that's one of our favorite things about any diesel engine is the power as well as getting good fuel economy that will be able to take you and whatever load that you're hauling long distances without having to stop. Plus the fuel costs also add up.
Exactly, and we're focused here on Cummins because this is kind of the new.
Look at all that.
So this is the engine. This is the new proposed system. It's kind of stacked vertically, right? So the exhaust kind of comes in, and then finally it comes out the bottom. So it's supposed to be more efficient, like you said, quicker comes up to temperature quicker, and then you have the axles, of course, in the back there. Dude, this is pretty impressive system.
If it comes painted hot rod red like that, I'm sold.
Why doesn't every engine come like this?
Yeah, it looks cool. I like their little graphic of it. It does seem like that DPF, obviously we're looking at a semi-truck system here, so these are not going to be components on the scale of what you would get in just a regular consumer vehicle like a Ram 2500 or 3500, but this still, a DPF looks like a pretty big component.
Yeah, we're talking about engines straight sixes still.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the only way to do it, isn't it? But these are 15-liter engines. So the number in a lot of these names usually stands for displacement. So if you look at like X15, that's a 15-liter inline six engine still. So let's talk about a couple of other things. For example, the X10, once again, this would be a 10-liter engine. Here it is, straight six. This is a newer engine. Power numbers for this, for big trucks, would be anywhere between 320 to 450 horsepower, and the torques are between 1,000 and 1,650, which is healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the things that's always interesting whenever you look at commercial vehicle power output versus a lot of the consumer trucks. Consumer trucks that we buy every day, it seems like there's been a little bit of a arms race as far as horsepower, because some of our non-commercial trucks are getting up there into these 10-liter power
numbers.
figures.
Yeah, but like, for example, a 6.7-liter V8 Power Stroke Ford engine.
Yeah.
Very good engine, designed and built by Ford. It would be at 500 horsepower now.
Yeah. Of course,
so,
not 1,600 pound-feet
no,
of torque, but
about 1,200 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah.
So consumer pickup truck power numbers are, sometimes they lean heavier on the horsepower number and a little bit less on the torque number. But when you're talking about big trucks, torque is king. That's why you see big numbers like 1,650 pound-feet or even 2,000 pound-feet of torque in some of the bigger engines, like the 15-liter.
Just interesting in my head that some of these smaller diesel engines that you can get in a non-commercial truck are closing in on a couple of those numbers. It's
exactly.
Crazy.
And some of the towing ratings are closing in, like 40,000 pounds and an F450, right?
Theoretically.
Theoretically. I mean, we've done it in a controlled scenario, but those numbers
no spare tire.
So there's a couple of dates that, and also a new 7.2-liter engine that I haven't heard about yet, but now we know.
That's the real nugget right there, something that we're being told by this source of ours that had some pretty interesting information and some evidence to back it up.
Yeah.
But that 6.7, we're showing that potentially the 6.7 diesel
Octane. And diesel.
Yeah.
And both. Yes.
Might be phased out for a 7.2 coming down the line. Now, most of these things that we were looking at that this person who we were getting information from was showing us is mostly relative to commercial vehicles. So this is not specifically about Ram trucks that you'll go to a Ram dealer and buy.
Yeah.
But
it could be.
Yeah, it could move that direction.
Yeah. So hopefully within the next few months, I'm talking about like a January timeframe, February timeframe, we'll know all the specs on the Ram heavy-duty pickup trucks. So we'll see like the 2500s and 3500s, and we'll have some specs. But I think they'll be probably heading this direction too, because regulations apply to most of these vehicles the same, right? So we may see a 6.7 octane burning engine and a diesel burning engine. Then we may see a 7.2-liter engine in 2027. This is a little bit down the line, right?
Yeah.
As far as time is concerned. But the idea is the same. Better, cleaner burning engines, but still really powerful engines and big displacement engines as well.
And also something that at least Cummins claims is one of their three really highest priorities is uptime. So talking about the fact that these trucks are not down for service, because especially in this commercial area, the more a vehicle is needing to be maintained, you're not only not making money, but you're losing money.
Yes.
So uptime is important. They've got a few more criteria as well.
Yeah, like total cost of ownership. Every fleet manager talks about this, which includes efficiency. And the new DPF system we showed you improves efficiency, right? And also maintenance costs.
Yeah.
Also very important. And that's a huge sore point for a lot of people, with DPF systems, diesel exhaust fluid systems, right? they tend to break down after a while. So that Cummins is working on that, and also performance. But performance, coincidentally, in this space is actually down the list. It's not the first thing that you worry about. It's like the last thing you worry about.
To be fair, performance is arguably already there.
Yeah, you got torque and power.
Yeah, not necessarily a huge limiting factor. So just being able to maintain good performance while also improving in those other areas as far as efficiency really and as far as emissions at all.
And maintenance, maintainability, right? And cost of maintenance, right? So those are the things that are most important. So a couple more dates. So as far as the big engines are concerned, we're talking about 15-liter engines. There's going to be natural gas engines for big trucks, semi-trucks coming, actually starting right now in 2024.
Yep.
And it'll be phased in. Many manufacturers may choose to use it, in 2025 and 2026. There's going to be a diesel engine that will continue, 15-liter engine, but it's going to get more efficient and more cleaner as it moves on. And then there's going to be a hydrogen burning engine, which is down the line in 2029.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is, where do you get hydrogen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You could burn it and you could use it and make power, but you need the filling station.
Yeah, you need the infrastructure. So these are all pretty interesting things to be looking at from Cummins, because this is a little bit a general outline of their plans through 2030, so through the end of the decade.
Mm-hmm.
And at least for me, the most interesting thing on this list is that 7.2. Once again, this is not an official announcement from Cummins, but it's stuff that we're hearing whispers about.
Yeah.
And if that 7.2 eventually makes it to the regular Ram trucks that you and I love to buy and test and tow with, that could be really cool. That could be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's huge. And we're hearing a lot of rumors in the space of increasing displacement. And you might be saying, wait a minute, it's bad. Why would you want a bigger engine? Isn't downsizing...
Who says that's bad?
Some viewers may think this. Because look at the mid-size trucks. They went away from V6s, went to 4 cylinders. Ram went from a 5.7 Hemi to a 3-liter turbocharged Hurricane engine. So you would think downsizing engines is better, but
these are HDs, Andre.
Heavy duties like bigger displacements, because it may allow them to run cleaner, and you could maybe turn up the power as well. So
bigger number. I like that.
Okay,
bigger
and still maintaining efficiency, right? So that's still very important. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Would you, do you like this type of stuff? What about that new DPF system? It sounds actually exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be really interesting, and maybe a formula for those DPF systems going forward.
And also fairly compact. I mean, this is a semi-truck system, which could be huge, but if you scale it down for a smaller engine, it could be really useful.
Which would also be nice, because some of those DPFs are not small.
They run the entire length of your truck sometimes. All right, let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.